Alrighty. Hi, I'm marquisdan. This is going to be Wizards and Warriors 3. I'll give you a countdown of 3, 2, 1, go, and then I'll start explaining the game as I go. So it'll be 3, 2, 1, go. So, like I mentioned before, this is Wizards and Warriors 3. It is a really late NES, like proto-Metroidvania game. So what that means is I can go anywhere I want. I don't really have a lot of direction, is what I'm trying to do. But eventually I'm going to run into different obstacles that I need, like tools and abilities to get through. You get tools in this game by joining different guilds. There's like a thief guild, a knight guild, and a wizard guild. Since we're playing any percent, we're going to be skipping most of those. We're going to be skipping about half the game. The way you join a guild is to first you go get the corresponding statue, and then you go to the guild itself and do a trial. So we're going to start doing all 3 thief guilds right away because those let us go fast, and we're speedrunning. We want to go fast. The thief guilds are all auto-scrollers. I'm probably going to be talking and explaining through the first one, but those level 2 and 3 thief guilds would be really great times for donations. I think we have a couple incentives for this game, if anyone is feeling generous. So the plot of this game is that the evil wizard Malco, who's the bad guy in every Wizards and Warriors game, has sort of taken over this town. And he's usurped the king, and we need to get into the castle and fight him, but the doors are all locked. And the only way to get into the tower to fight the king is to get these 4 crown jewels that open the door. So we're just going to be running around town and getting those. So we're coming up to our first boss here. There's an AI manip I'm doing where I just alternate 2 inputs back and forth, and the boss just continuously dodges until he dies. It makes things very easy. And that's the first thief guild done. So there's a speed tech trick I'm doing here. I can advance dialogue on every frame if I press a different button than the frame before. So if you just mash everything, including the D-pad, you can get through the dialogue options super fast. It's kind of a fun quirk. Now we're heading over to this shop. This is the last time we're going to be seeing this shop. This helpful gentleman sells keys to every door in town. So we're just going to buy all the keys we need for the rest of the game and peace out. And now we're going to our level 2 and 3 thief guilds, and all the level 2 and 3 guilds in the game are guarded by a mini boss. So we'll just fight this guy. The goal is just to not let him move until now. And then I'm going to take 1 intentional hit, stand on the fire, and that keeps my iframes up so the boss can't hit me. And then we just juggle him, and we're done. Easy peasy. We're going to be doing 2 tricks next, where I am trying to keep certain things in memory as I move around town. And that's going to keep all of the barriers that I would normally have to contend with from spawning, because those lovely NES memory limits. Caught the lip of the roof there. Okay, so I'm going to go over here. This is pixel perfect height jump, which I was 1 pixel too high. There we go. Not quite. Like I said, it's pixel perfect, so it took me first try. You all saw it. There we go. Beehive is gone. Now I have to jump very precisely through town, and that will keep a specific amount of people and dogs in memory to keep all of the barriers from spawning for me. There we go. We got the trick. The thing with speedrunning this game, if you do it correctly, it looks like you're not doing any tricks. But I promise there are. So this is a perfect spot for a donation if we have anything.
Not at the moment, but keep going.
Alrighty. Yep, let's get those donations in. OI Foundation's a great cause. So here, you definitely don't want to go into the spikes because you'll definitely die instantly. And all the thief guilds, like I mentioned, they are auto-scrollers, unfortunately, which is not super ideal for a speed run, but we're going to blaze through them as fast as we can. And we're coming to the second thief boss. All the thief bosses are kind of about manipulating the AI, but this one has a much more difficult pattern. So you have to stand on a really specific set of pixels. There we go. You can make him dodge twice if you're fast enough, but it's a little slow. So you got to take a couple hits, and then we'll make him dodge back. It's all about just standing in the right spots to make the boss do what you want. There he goes. Easy. Easy, easy. Those bosses definitely aren't free. If you get off the pattern, you have to wait, like, the cycle's really long to reset it. So that went fairly smoothly, even though I did take one extra hit. So this boss, this level 2 Thief Guild gives us the crowbar. So we're Gordon Freeman now. And we're going to run across town. And what the crowbar lets us do is it lets us go into these little windows. And this window has the Gold Thief statue. There's a much less safe strat where you can attack this boss to the right. But the reason that is not safe is because the hitboxes on this boss are incredibly broken. You see I'm just kind of attacking the air. But if I attack from the right, I think I have 1 to 2 pixels of like wiggle room to work with. So in a marathon setting, it's much safer to just kind of eat one cycle and attack from the left. So we're already on our third thief statue. And we are going to use our crowbar to rescue the first of 3 princesses. The princesses all have one of the crown jewels that we need to proceed to the end of the game. And there's no way to skip them, so... Alright, got the pixel perfect height jump on the first try, second try there. Alright, here's our first princess. So what she's going to do is she's going to say, hey, thanks for rescuing me, I'll give you my gem, but you have to promise to marry me. And she does not take no for an answer. So we're engaged. I don't know if that's ever going to come up later, but there we are. I'm going to try to do the despawn trick one more time. We got it. Now we're on the third Thief Guild, and it's another good donation spot if we got one.
You have a donation. We have $139.10 by a butterfly. It says, Daddy, I want to play Daddy. Is it my controller? For a cuddle? I pooped. Love, your daughter.
Oh, yeah, she's in the audience right now. She might show up a little later. Thank you very much for that donation. It's a lot of cash for a 3-year-old to have. But, yeah, thank you very much. I think she got to put that donation message in herself. So this one is the same as the second Thief Guild. It's actually a little easier because the second Thief Guild is kind of a maze, and this one is just take every door you see, and that's the solution. Those are always the same pattern. So this is the same as the last boss, just a lot more health. Oh, I messed up the glitch right away, so we are going to eat a cycle. I am cursed on this boss for Midwest Speedfest events, by the way. Yep. We got their timing off. I'm going to try my hardest not to die here, because I have died on at Midwest Speedfest twice on this boss before. So we're just going to play it very safe and boring, because we don't want to do the auto-scroller again. There we go. I think we're in the loop now. There we go. So the bosses in this game are not hard unless you get off the pattern. Then it just turns into a mess super fast. But we are done with the third Thief Guild. What I'm going to be doing now is climbing up to the very top of the whole game. The game is separated in 3 vertical sections. There's the caves, the town, and the palace. I'm going to use a series of secret doors to just pop up into the palace. And this is where the orb incentive is going to close as well, if we have that.
Asking about the orb?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we did not meet that incentive.
Alrighty. You know what? I can do it in about a minute if somebody wants to snipe it. Well, I'll just ask you again right when we get the princess. It's just a little bit slower that way. But yeah, if anybody wants to snipe that incentive, definitely feel free. And get that orb beam going. Platforming here is a little tricky. It doesn't look so bad, but the physics in this game are pretty wonky and floaty. And this section is very RNG heavy, so if I could get your best RNG emotes in chat, I would appreciate it. Alright. The guy played nice. There's 2 more bad RNG spots on this outer tower section with the birds, and that guy throwing a spear. Ooh, we did get bad birds. Okay, we're just going to reset our birds. And then we're just going to hop up here and do a little skip. We're not supposed to be able to do it this way, but we got across. Alright, this is our second princess. For those of you playing along at home, we are now engaged to 2 different princesses. right. And that's 2 out of 2 crown jewels. And now we're gonna fall. We just fall all the way down to the very bottom of the game now. So it's another good time for donations because we're mostly just gonna be falling with style for a while here. Yeah, and we did miss that that orb incentive, unfortunately.
Sorry. We did just fulfill it, so get the orb.
Oh, well, that was my fault. I didn't call it out. Let's go back up. It's like a little side tour.
Orb.
Orb. All right, we're gonna play a game called How Fast Can Dan Climb Up the Town? Oop. Up, up, up. Thank you very much to whoever sniped that donation. Luckily, this game does have, like I mentioned, it's a proto Metroidvania. It does have a bunch of like alternate routes for getting through places, and the whole map is connected. It's a really fun game, if a little bit clunky. The reason that it's a little clunky is the company who made it was called Zippo Games. They're a Rare subsidiary, but I don't know if they had like a financial problem, or there's some sort of internal politics or something. But Rare ended up like absorbing the company, like firing everybody before this game could get finished. So you'll notice there's like nothing you might expect in a game like I don't know, bad guys or like danger. They forgot to put that in. So yeah, we got our orb, and the thing with the orb is that it does occupy a spot in our inventory, so we're gonna have to go turn that orb in. This game has, to give you a little direction, a set of like wise men that kind of give you clues about how to finish the game. So basically he says, hey, give me my treasure. Can you go, you need to go find princesses. That's what he told me. I was like, I already found 2 princesses. I know I need to find princesses. But here we go. We're going to go back down to the caves. One thing that's kind of fun to point out is that I do only have 4 spots in my inventory, and there are paths you can take in this game where you soft lock yourself. Like you can't pick up like a required item because you've filled up your inventory. Alright, back to the game. So we already got our Bronze Wizard statue. We skipped all of the Night Guilds. For those of you familiar with this game as a speedrun, you used to have to get a Night Guild in order to beat the game. But a few months ago, the world record holder, Jackie B, found a new clip that lets us completely skip that guild. And it saves over a minute. Versus the old world record. We had a 3-year-old world record that has been dropped multiple times in the last few months. It's a very exciting time to be part of this speedrunning community. Alright, so we're joining a wizard guild. You might wonder, how do you become a wizard? The only way to become a wizard, of course, is to jump on onions. So here we go, we're jumping on onions. And now we gotta fight this guy. He's not very hard. You just stand outside of his reach, and then you kind of like poke him. The only problem with that boss is that it does have really, really long iframes, so it doesn't really matter how fast you mash. It's always going to be the same amount of time. So now we're a level 1 wizard. What does the level 1 wizard do? It gets to shoot fireballs. If you ever play Dungeons & Dragons, that's what wizards like to do. Alright, so we're going to hop up here to reset our momentum. Go in here, and then we're going to try the fast clip. Okay, nope. All right, I need everybody's best first try emotes here, because we're going to do this on the first try. First try. First try. There we go, first try. You all saw it. We're in the wall. And now we're going to go down and get our gold wizard statue. We're going to completely skip the second wizard guild because we don't need it in this route. And the golden wizard statue is... Oops, that's not the costume I wanted. Golden wizard statue is guarded by this worm. I think we got the block right away. Nope, he's nice. This worm just kind of floats around. You just got to shoot the head sprite over and over. And eventually, as it takes damage, the worm gets shorter, and then the sprites start going faster and stuff. A little bit off my timing here, because it's always the same pattern. But for some reason, I don't know if it's lack of sleep. I am slightly misremembered the pattern on phase 1. But phase 2, unfortunately, is very easy. Phase 2, we fight the same worm again, but the pattern's much easier to remember. First one is like kind of arbitrary. The second one is the worm is just going to kind of come out of the same hole it goes into. It's very easy to remember until you get down to like 1 or 2 segments left. Alright, there's our worm. So now we have the gold wizard statue, and that's going to let us join the 3rd wizard guild. And this is going to be actually the hardest part of the game. It's a lot like the first wizard guild, except the platforms are 1/3 the size. And on top of that, the physics in this game, as mentioned, are not ideal. You can clip through the corners of the platforms. You can slide off the top of them. The momentum from your jumps changes as you go up the tower. So you just have to memorize like how high you're going to jump, and it doesn't really matter how long you press the button. Like, it's going to be different. I had to get kicked out of that room once because the thief is the only thing that can open the door. But then the guy's like, "You're not a thief, you can't join the wizard guild." So I just quickly changed outfits, and now he's suddenly cool with me. Alright, like I mentioned, these are 1/3 of the size of the previous ones. If you ever played this game as a kid, this is probably where you quit. I know it's where I quit, because this was very, very tough to do. There we go. Alright, so as long as we don't fall all the way to the bottom, it's not too bad of a time loss. I'm just gonna stop commentating for just a few seconds here and concentrate. But if you're ever learning speedrun in this game, one of the most important things you can learn is how to fall in this section. And try to land on a platform rather than falling to the bottom. I mean, obviously, if you're going for a top time, any fall is going to kill your run, but I use the right wall there to set me on the same pixel every time. This guy doesn't really do anything to you. Alright, here comes the hardest jump in the game because of all the sprites on the screen. It's very laggy, and your momentum gets eaten. Come on. I mean, that is the hardest jump in the game. I don't think I've missed it in the last 4 or 5 marathons, so we're having fantastic luck today. At least the music's pretty jammin'. A little bit of note on the music. This is by a composer called David Weiss. He composed a lot of the old Rare games, especially on the NES and SNES. He went on to go and compose Donkey Kong Country, which is, I know, a soundtrack that a lot of people enjoy. My favorite soundtrack of his, of course, is this game. There we go. Alright, and there we go, first try. So this boss is a lot like the first one, except he actually attacks you back. If I'm lucky, he's not going to do any short worm attacks. Okay, occasionally you have to block. He doesn't really have iframes though, so you can just mash him down. And that is all the guilds done. That was unfortunately kind of a bad Wizard 3. But let's see if we get a good dragon fight to kind of make up the time. So you notice we have 2 crown jewels. We're going to need 4 to beat the game. There's 1 more princess we can rescue, but the last jewel has to come from a dragon. The dragon is the biggest RNG beast the dragon will straight up ruin your perfect run. So we'll hope that it's happy today, since we've already had our share of slowdowns. Come on. Alright, here we go. The Wizard 3 costume lets us levitate, which we'll need to use to access some stuff in the end of the game here. We also have an incentive in this game for basically which ending we're getting. Do we have any donations on that yet?
For the bid war at the end?
Yep.
Yes, we actually do. Currently, it's $10 to 0 for kill him.
All right, so that'll get us the good ending, and it's actually kind of a fun glitch. The bad ending, which is actually just the game over screen, gets a pretty interesting looking cutscene with some fun sprite work. So either way is good. You either can see a cool glitch or you can see some cool sprite work. So get those donations in. You've got a couple more minutes before we get up to the boss fight. But depending on how nice the dragon is anyway. So my PB in this game is like 19 something. My estimate in this game is 25 minutes. And most of that is this dragon. Because as you can see, if he hits you, and you have iframes on, you will fall through these platforms because they're not really coded as ground. Yeah, and that happens. Sometimes you can block it, sometimes you can recover, but if he hits you and you flip around, your character won't recover in time and you'll fall. So we're gonna try to get back on the rhythm of that fight. And then after this fight is going to be really good spots for donation reading or any kind of announcements you might have. But I need to finish this dragon fight first. When I was a kid, I saw this dragon on the box art and I thought, this is going to be a really gnarly fight. It's going to be really tough to beat him. He's actually not very hard. He can't hurt you more than like 1 damage at a time. It's just... he is the boss for speedrunning only. Like, he's not the boss for for the game. He's only a pain in the butt for speedrunning. He's really not playing nice today. It's not my day. There we go. We got a really good set of damage on him there. Another difficulty in this game is that only one head is active at a time, and that's the only spot you can hit the boss. You can't attack his body. You can't attack inactive heads. Okay, we got good blocks in. So what I do is I try to set like a wall of fireballs up, and then hopes that the boss will kind of run into it. But we also run into a limitation of sprites. We've got to reset that whole thing one more time here. I've never seen the boss be this mean with RNG before. I mean, I could have killed him, but I missed a lot of shots too. So we'll try this one more time. There he goes. Be nice, be nice. Alright, so we'll go top route. Let the boss come down, block his shots. There we go. That's how we want to do it. One more round like that and we'll have him. Unfortunately, I got knocked a couple times there. You're meant to fight this boss with a different weapon if you're playing the intended route. Alright, there we go. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab this gem and I'm going to shoot a bunch of fireballs in the air. And what that does is those Y positions of those fireballs get stored in memory and they're not altered for the rest of the run unless I shoot another projectile. And that same memory address is read by the last boss when he chooses his attack pattern. So we can use that to use a glitch on the last boss. But that dragon gave us our last gem, and we're able to get through kind of the back door into the castle this way. Oops, wrong platform. There we go. This is what we call the climb. So So what the climb is all platforming. It's all just about choosing the right blocks to be on, cutting your jump short. It's about knowing the speed in this game too, because the walking speed is actually the fastest. The jumping speed is about 75% of the walking speed. So you want to avoid jumping as much as you can and just keep those jumps as short as you can. The levitate, of course, is the slowest form of movement. But for a while here, I'm just going to be platforming and just trying to be as efficient as I can. Oops. Got slightly distracted. Thought we were one floor up above from where we were. The other big challenge of this game is if it all looks the same. So occasionally, even as a speedrunner, you will get lost. So here is the second of 2 town sections, and then there's going to be 2 palace sections, and we're done. So are there any more donations to read off before we head towards the last boss here?
Donations?
Yep, do we got any?
We actually have 2 donations. We have $30 from Oscar424 for Orb.
Oh, thank you.
And Orb. We also have $10 from Anonymous, who says, stab, stab, kill, kill. And one last quick announcement. We have actually passed the $3,000 mark for our donation total.
All right. Yeah, that's exciting. Thanks, everyone, for donating. Thank you for Oscar for sniping that incentive. All right, so here we're going to be doing a little trick called the alcove trick, where you kind of jump into the alcoves to save time, because the intended route is just to hold B and like levitate up this whole tower, but it's quite slow compared to jumping because of the speed differences I mentioned before. But the reason it's like kind of a trick is because it's very hard to jump out of those alcoves and land where you need to go. All right, so we're heading into the last boss room. So are we still on kill?
We are currently still on kill. Should I go and close the bid war?
Yeah, let's close it. All right, so here's the last boss. A funny note on this boss is that you get a dialogue box. He's like, do you want to join me and take over the world or whatever? If you choose yes, it is an instant game over. No matter how many lives you have, no matter how many hours you spent getting to this guy, you just lose. So we'll choose no. We'll fight the boss. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go right here, levitate. The boss is going to try to read his attack pattern. And time. The boss is dead. I probably should have warned you on time. Oh, if you're photosensitive at all, just look away because it's going to be bright and flashy. I fill up the whole screen with bright flashing lights. But yeah, this was Warriors 3. You're supposed to actually fight that boss, but if you set the memory up just right, the boss will try to read to see what he's supposed to do next and won't know and die. So that's the joy of NES games. You can really futz with the memory and get cool effects like that. So what's happening here is our hero Kuros is heading off into the future to chase Malco, who went into the future. That part of the cutscene got swallowed by the bug. The whole thought of this game was that there was going to be a futuristic Wizards and Warriors next, where you like had a legally distinct from a lightsaber laser sword to go fight everything, but then the series kind of ended after this. And there's a bunch of weird stuff with the rights, so it never ended up on like the rare throwback things. But yeah, this was Warriors 3. Up next, I am playing another game called Doodle World. Do you want me to just swap it out now? Alright. Okay. Okay.